2. In Halifax, he finds lodging by the port, a boarding house where he's able to secure a corner room on the second floor, overlooking the harbour. He wakes that first morning to a wonderfully lively scene outside his window. A large merchant ship has arrived, and he's close enough to hear the jovial curses of the men unloading barrels and sacks and crates. He spends much of that first day gazing out the window, like a cat. He planned to go west immediately, but it's so easy to linger in Halifax, where he falls prey to a personal weakness he's been aware of all his life. Edwin is capable of action, but prone to inertia. He likes sitting by his window. There's a constant movement of people and ships. He doesn't want to leave, so he stays. "Oh, just trying to puzzle out my next move, I suppose," he says to the proprietor when she makes gentle inquiries. Her name is Mrs. Donnelly. She's from Newfoundland. Her accent confounds him. She sounds like she's from Bristol and also from Ireland, simultaneously. But then sometimes he hears Scotland. The rooms are clean and she's an excellent cook. Sailors pass by his window in jostling waves. They rarely look up. He enjoys watching them, but dares not make any movement toward them. Besides, they have each other. When drunk, they put their arms around one another's shoulders, and he feels a piercing envy. Could he go to sea? Of course not. He discards the idea as soon as it arises. He once heard of a remittance man who reinvented himself as a sailor, but Edwin's a man of leisure through and through. He loves watching the boats come in, steamships pulling into the harbour with an aura of Europe still clinging to their decks. He takes walks in the mornings and again in the afternoons, down to the harbour, out to quiet residential areas, in and out of little shops under the striped awnings on Barrington Street. He likes to ride the electric streetcar to the end of the line, and then come back, watching the shift from small houses to larger houses to the commercial buildings downtown. He likes buying things that he doesn't especially need: a loaf of bread, a postcard or two, a bouquet of flowers. This could be a life, he finds himself thinking. It could be as simple as this. No family, no job, just a few simple pleasures and clean sheets to fall into at the end of the day, a regular allowance from home. A life of solitude could be a very pleasant thing. He begins buying flowers every few days, which he places on his dresser in a cheap vase. He spends a long time gazing at them. He wishes he were an artist, to draw them, and in so doing to see them more clearly. Could he learn to draw? He has time and money. It's as good an idea as any. He makes inquiries with Mrs. Donnelly, who makes inquiries with a friend, and a short time later Edwin is in the parlour of a woman who trained as a painter. He spends quiet hours sketching flowers and vases, learning the fundamentals of shading and proportion. The woman's name is Letitia Russell. She wears a wedding ring, but the location of her husband is unclear. She lives in a tidy wooden house with 3 children and a widowed sister, an unobtrusive chaperone who knits endless scarves in a corner of the room, so that for the rest of his life Edwin associates drawing with the clicking of knitting needles. He's been living at the boarding house for 6 months when Reginald arrives. Reginald, he can tell at once, is not prone to inertia. Reginald has immediate plans to go west. He's 2 years older than Edwin, a fellow Old Etonian, 3rd son of a viscount, and his eyes are beautiful, a deep greyish blue. Like Edwin, his plans involve establishing himself as a gentleman farmer, but unlike Edwin, he's actually taken steps to achieve this, and has been corresponding with a man who wishes to sell a farm in Saskatchewan. 6 months, Reginald repeats at breakfast, not quite believing it. He stops spreading jam on his toast for a moment, seemingly unsure if he heard correctly. 6 months? 6 months here?